Hey there, Misfits. Welcome to a hot take on Last Light. Now, if you saw our unboxing video on Last Light, you saw that about halfway through we started getting super disappointed in what we saw because I had found myself a retail version of Last Light. We first played this game at one of our local game retreats, and all the beautiful stuff that was on the board and all the extra cool parts that came with the Kickstarter edition just dazzled us, and we did not realize that none of that was in that. Granted, we should probably have been able to tell that from the fact that I got both boxes for under $100, and honestly right now you can't even get that for $300 somewhere online for the complete set. So, you know, I should have known, but I really didn't realize that it would miss the mark for me as abruptly as it did. So I boiled it all down. Anthony and I talked about it. We played around with it and all that stuff, but we really realized that it's hard to have a game like this, especially kind of in the mold of an Eclipse or a Twilight Imperium, but shorter, that you're not pushing little ships around. And I know that sounds weird, but the tactile ability to be able to look down, move some ships around, have a battle fleet going in this direction or that direction. The ships that came in the Kickstarter edition of Last Light were really nice. So I thought that's really the bottom line, because there's some other stuff in here that isn't quite the Kickstarter version, a lot of cardboard stuff, but that was just little mining tokens. That was lots of little things. Even the rocks. I mean, I was fine with having a little rock token. That's perfectly fine. It was just the ships were just what was missing for me. So I made it a mission to come up with a cheap and easy way to upgrade your Last Light to have that same feel. If you have Eclipse or Twilight Imperium, you don't have to worry about this. You can just grab some ships. Twilight Imperium's got lots of ships. Eclipse has less ships, but they have enough ships. So even Twilight Imperium's got a couple things you could say are mining harvesters. It's win-win if you got Twilight Imperium sitting on your shelf collecting dust. You could do that. But if not, just check out our $20 option. I've got links down below to get both kinds of ships, and put a little paint on them. And you don't have to paint them as much as I do, but you know, I'm kind of a war gamer kind of painter kind of guy, so I added a whole bunch of extra bells and whistles. You could just slap some paint on to tell which color is which and go. And for 20 bucks, 20 bucks is 20 bucks, as I always say. And I think I did a pretty good job, but I'll go over what we did first. I found all these ships for $9.99 on Walmart.com. Shockingly enough, it was an assortment of different plastic ships. And you can see here the different styles kind of play to different colors. And you know, I was able to get a little creative. I was able to decide on which color schemes. They all had these big UFO discs, you know, these little guys here that could work as the big ship. And then you've got these medium-sized ships, and then you've got the little fighters, which they didn't come in the set, but I found a great source on Etsy for a whole bunch of these little generic starfighters. And all I had to do was paint them all their individual color, give them a little detail, and you've got yourself a set of ships that's worthy of pushing around on this old beautiful board with all these little planets, and you've got yourself a game. What's funny is in the process of doing all this, actually somebody jumped in on Etsy and has come up with a kit to upgrade various stages of the retail version to something closer to the Kickstarter version, which was beautiful, but it's a little pricey for me. I didn't want it to drop over $100 for all the cool bits. And you know, honestly, Gray Fox Games, if you're not thinking of putting together a couple of upgrade packs for this, you're leaving money on the table, I'll tell you that right now. Now, if you want to see how I painted all these little figs, then welcome to our new segment, Happy Little Figs with Tom. Now, when you go to break this down, you're going to need 2 of the large ships, you're going to need 3 of the medium ships, and you're going to need 5 of the little fighters for each faction. And then I had to take them all. I had to throw a little primer on them because, you know, refined plastic doesn't hold paint too well. And then I just divided them up by which color I wanted my ships and then started painting them. from there, I just threw a little detail on them afterwards, and I've got all of my ships all set up here by different color, and you can see the end product. Now, you don't have to get as crazy as I did, but I'm incorrigible. I have to paint some details on them because that's me. But you'll be able to do this based on your difficulty level and how much effort you want to put in on, honestly. If you get some contrast paint on a lot of these, especially on the greens, the contrast paint really jumped out and really made them look really nice. But it's effectively, all you need is color so you can tell them apart. Now, as you can see, I've got all these laid out. Now, the game comes with little cardboard guys, and it just didn't do it for me. So I had to go with making my own plastic stuff, and I really think that this really enhances the overall feel of the game. And when we were kind of playing around with it, definitely gave you that extra something, which honestly I thought it was really missing. So you could either go this crazy route of painting and buying and doing all this stuff I had, but you could also pull them out of a box, or you can get one of those upgrade sets on Etsy. There's a lot of different avenues you can take, but this was just 20 bucks for me, and I wanted to share it with you guys because I thought it came out amazing. I really did. And that was, you know, a few days hard work, but it was well worth it. So thanks for joining me for another hot take. This one, how to fix the retail version of Last Light to make it super cool. Thanks for joining us, and as always, game on.